Hello, welcome to this demonstration of creating graphical text for my online training content using two very simple tools. One is Microsoft Word, which is a word processing package that is part of the Microsoft Office, and the second one is Snip. Snip is a free utility that comes packaged with your Microsoft Windows software, so you don't need to purchase Snip. Right, so let's get started. Supposing I've got text that I want to share with my students, but for the sake of variety and making it interesting, I don't want it to be just plain text. I want to use a little bit of color, a little bit of formatting in Windows to make it more beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select my text here, and I'll change the font. One of my favorite fonts is Century Gothic. So let me go to Century Gothic. Yeah, I like that font for whatever reason. And then I'll make the headings bold. So these are ground rules for online lessons, and I want to share with my students. So I'm changing the headings to make them, in fact, maybe before I do that, let me change all the text and make it blue. I like the contrast of white and white background, blue, dark blue text, and then red headings. So I'll make the headings red. I use Word. I mean, you already know how to use Word. So I come here and I choose the color red, and then I go to each of these words, and those are the headers of the headers of the of each of the categories of our ground rules, right? So I make them bold and I make them red. Okay, I just want to do this quickly. I don't want this to take too long. Let's make it bold. Let's make it red. Let's make it bold. We make it bold. And we make it red. And then we make this one bold. And we make it red. So this is something you can't do in your WhatsApp, for example. If it's text, it's just text. So having done this, I'm thinking, let me enclose this in a border around it. But I find the best way to do this, most flexible way, is to insert a table. So I'm going to insert a table. I click insert, gives me table. I click on this down arrow, and then I go and say insert table. All right, it has inserted it in a table, but I don't really like the way it's done it, because it has now put each single line in its own row. So what I'm going to do is I will merge these, because I want them all to be really in one box. So that's what I wanted. And I want this box to be a little bit narrower than it is. All right, not the best, but it will have to do. So I want this to be a little bit indented inside if I can. Let's see if that will work. No, yeah, I've managed to get it indented. It's a little bit too far, but it's okay. I'll just indent every single one of the longer kind of detailed explanations of the ground rules that we're setting. This is all in the name of aesthetics. I'm just trying to make it look a little bit easier to read, a little bit appealing. I know this is just the basics, but look, this is a demonstration. I know when you work with this, you'll be able to do much greater things. So the last thing I want to do is to put a heading on top of these ground rules. I want to put a heading that says ground rules. So I'm going to go to layout here and say insert above, and it inserts a row above, but hey, it's made this row really wide. So I'm reducing the row height over here. Right, I've reduced the row height, so now you can see everything, and I want this to be centered in the cell. So like that, it's left aligned, but it is vertically centered. So from my layout, I just choose that, and I wanted to once again the same font. It's Century Gothic, but I want it to be a little bit bigger, so I enlarge it a bit. And I also want this row height to be increased a bit. Right, so I'll just say ground rules here. Ground rules. Okay, isn't that neat? And then the last thing I'm going to do is to shade this, get this shaded. So I just come over here, click on this bucket to pour some paint. There you are. So that's the graphic text I want to use, right? What I'm going to do next is I will now use Snip. Take this, make a picture of it, and either save it or paste it in my WhatsApp. I think I'll do the two, right? So the first thing is Snip is already in part of your system. You press the Windows key. There is a key on your keyboard, it's right at the bottom, next to you, closest to you when you're seated by the keyboard, and it's got a little icon of a window, like a window with 4 parts. You click on that and click on Shift at the same time simultaneously, and whilst those 2 keys are pressed down, you then click on S, letter S, and you release those keys. Once you've done that, Snip should run, and when it comes, it sort of makes your screen a little bit darker, and then you just use your mouse to move the little, it changes your mouse pointer into a plus sign. So you go to, in this case I'm going to the top left corner of my ground rules box, and I drag it to the bottom right corner, so it selects that, and once I release the mouse button, it copies this into the clipboard. So now I've got it. What can I do with this? If I wanted to send it right away, I could go straight into my WhatsApp, and whilst I'm in WhatsApp, all I need to do is to paste, right? So let's just go to WhatsApp. Yeah, my computer is slow. I need a new computer, but anyway, we will get there. So I'm just trying to get the WhatsApp going here. I'm using WhatsApp Web, which, as you know, is you're using WhatsApp on your laptop rather than on your phone. It gives you a lot more flexibility. Right, so now I can paste. I can just come to where it says type a message. I click here, and then if I right click the button, it gives me a context menu, and then I just say paste. Because that picture that Snip took is in the clipboard memory, it is instantly pasted, and then I can send it. Okay. Alternatively, if I wanted to save this, so that's already gone. If I was sending this to my group, it will have gone. But alternatively, you want to put together all the content and then send it when you're ready, when it's time for the lesson. So what I could do alternatively is I could go to Paint, and whilst I'm in Paint, I could let me say new, so that I start a new Paint file or a new graphic file. Then I could paste it in here. Just did Control V. Alternatively, I could have gone over here and chosen paste, right? So now that it's here, what do I want to do? I want to crop, because I don't want everything else there. I've cropped it, and then I'll say File, Save, and I'll give it a name that I want. So in this case, I'll call it Ground Rules. Ground Rules, right? No. I got my case wrong. Ground Rules. Okay, here we are. Save, and that has been saved in the folder which I'm using for all content related to this course. So there you are. There's Ground Rules. So I can go and use it whenever I wanted. I could alternatively, if I had already prepared this, I could just go to my WhatsApp. Let me make the window a little bit smaller, and then I could just drag it and drop it here. So I drag it, I click, I hold the mouse button down, and then I drag it to where it says type a message, and there you are. It comes up. And now once it's displayed, I can then click this arrow button to send it. That's it. So that's how you can create graphic content using Word and using Snip, both of which are easily accessible, obtainable packages or apps that are already on your phone, or on your laptop, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it. That's all I had for you for now.